Thank you all for joining us this evening for the Breaking the Stigma in the Jewish Community, a program on mental health during and after pregnancy. I ask that if you have not already done so, please turn off your cell phones or put them on vibrate. Just to note that this program will be videotaped. But again, the videotaping is focused on this podium and this table over here. So you will be taking questions for our panelists at the end of the program, but those questions will be written out and be passed forward for our panelists to answer at the conclusion of the program. Also, just to note, in terms of the building, that washrooms are available outside in the lobby over here, and also that there are a number of organizations which will have tables, which will have resources available to you after the conclusion of the program. This evening is the third year of our Breaking the Stigma program. And in Judaism, that's called a chazaka. This means that we have established this within our community as being something that has roots, something which is a norm. And I think that's something of great meaning to the Toronto Jewish community, that we are year over year making mental health an agenda item for our community, which is essential for us to make mental health a part of how it is to think about health generally, and also how we think about what it means to be a community of chesed, a community of kindness, and a community of righteousness. The first year that we ran this program, Rabbi Friedman Cole spoke very movingly about the sources in Tanakh of mental health among some of the heroes of our tradition. And I want to continue from a text that he quoted. I want to pick up from where he left off. He quoted from the story of Chana, the story that we read on the first day of Rosh Hashanah for the Haftarah. And in telling the story of Chana, I want to acknowledge that Chana's story of mental health was not one during or after pregnancy, but was before pregnancy. She was a person who struggled to conceive and to bring a child into the world. And we're told about her anguish and the terrible sorrow as she saw her life and the abuse that she endured in her moments of need. I want to quote from the book of Samuel that describes Chana's story. After they had eaten and drunk at Shiloh, which was the location of the tabernacle at the time, Chana rose. The priest Eli was sitting on the seat near the doorpost of the tabernacle of the Lord. In her wretchedness, she prayed to the Lord, weeping all the while. And she made this vow: O Lord of hosts, if you will look upon the suffering of your maidservants, and will remember me, and not forget your maidservants, and if you will grant your maidservants a male child, I will dedicate to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor shall ever touch his head. As she kept on praying before the Lord, Eli watched her mouth. Now Chana was praying in her heart. Only her lips moved, but her voice could not be heard. So Eli thought she was drunk. Eli said to her, "How long will you make a drunken spectacle of yourself? Sober up." And Chana replied, "Oh no, my Lord, I am a very unhappy woman. I have drunk no wine or other strong drink, but I have been pouring out my heart to the Lord. Do not take your maidservants for a worthless woman. I have only been speaking all this time out of my great anguish and distress." "Then go in peace," said Eli, "and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of the Lord." there are different vantage points from which to address stigma. We often speak to the person suffering from mental illness or to her or his family. Our message is, please seek the medical help and communal support that you deserve and that is your right. Yet when we speak in this way, we place the onus on Hannah. Some will have the courage of Hannah, but some will not. Today, I would like to address you from a different vantage point. At times, each of us is Hannah, and at times, each of us is Eli. If we are honest, we all know that at times, we stand at the doors of our own tabernacles, literal and metaphorical, and we open and close our own gates. Today I speak to you as I would speak to Eli. Eli, you are a hero in this story because you acknowledged your mistake and corrected it by opening your heart and blessing a woman in pain. Yet, and I again speak to each of you as an Eli, what can you do today, Eli, to make sure that Hannah is no longer doubted? How can we avoid the stigma? Eli, as we fight the stigma that surrounds mental illness, let us be open to acknowledging our errors. Let us not misjudge, and let us not push away. Let us not rush in our judgments. Let us understand that people who are supposed to be happy are not always happy. That people don't always speak out their prayers. Many prayers are silent. Let us not get lost in our models of righteousness. Let us not think of some who are worthy and others unworthy of God's love. Most of all, let us approach others. Let us approach each other with just a little more humility. It's my privilege now to call upon my colleague and friend, Rabbi Adam Cutler, to speak on behalf of Beth Tzedek, and also I want to acknowledge that he will shortly be becoming the head rabbi out of Israel, where we look forward to continuing to work together. L'hagdil Torah l'hadira.
Tchila for a pregnant woman. Beloved God, do kindness with me, so that heaven forfend I not carry with difficulty. May you also protect me, beloved Creator, that I not, heaven forbid, miscarry, that the child remain in me till the right time comes. Beloved God, may you also watch me, so that I not crave eating that which is not permitted. When you bring the time that I would want to have my child, let me have the child without pain, without loss to my health. Amen. I wonder about the centuries of Jewish women who recited that prayer, perhaps daily. What they meant by pain in the era before Tylenol, and certainly in the era before epidurals. A time when pregnancy was even more dangerous than it is today. And I wonder what they thought about pain. If it was for them something which was just physical. But I imagine, just like today, that they felt, that they experienced, that they understood pain to be something beyond what they felt, the bones and the skin. Awareness of a certain kind of mental pain. Awareness of the stresses that can often come with pregnancy. Psychic strain that can exist even when everything goes exactly as you want it to go. But of course, we all know that that is not always the case. In fact, it is not often the case in pregnancy. And I'm also struck by this language of fearing of what she may want to eat. A concern here for her spiritual well-being amidst her pregnancy. A fear that she'll do things or feel things that she wouldn't under normal circumstances. And this coming together of the physical, the mental, the spiritual is what we're here to speak about this evening. Because I think, like the generations of Jewish women of Ashkenaz who would recite this tefillah, there remains much to be prayed about and much to be discussed around pregnancy. So I want to thank Rabbi Strauchler for inviting me to this bima. It's been a wonderful partnership between Bet Tzedek and Shar Shemaim and other supporting partners and many supportive individuals in the last 3 years. And as you said, it's a chazaka. And I hope we continue, whether myself or the institution, and for many years to come.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Strauchler, Rabbi Cutler, for leading us off in this inspirational way. My name is Molen Lesh. I will be your moderator tonight. I'm a psychiatrist at Mount Sinai Hospital, Sinai Health System, and I'm very glad to be with you this evening in, as you've heard, the third of our series, Breaking the Stigma on Mental Health in Jewish Toronto. I want to let you know that there is a website as well that I would encourage you to turn to if you need. It is breakingthestigmajewishtoronto.com. And that will also link you to videos of our prior events and tonight's event and some relevant resources. Our focus tonight is on mental health for expectant mothers and fathers. This follows our earlier events focused on depression across the lifespan and on addictions. We have a remarkable evening with excellent speakers representing professional and personal perspectives, along with resource and information tables from a host of community organizations, all located in the foyer outside. Our panel will also address questions from the audience. Paper and pens will be distributed, and volunteers will collect your questions. I'm going to do my best to collate those questions and present them to the panel to address in the last section of our evening, and hopefully we'll be able to capture the key questions that have the farthest-reaching impact. Much credit is forthcoming to Shara Shemaim, to Beth Tzedek, UJA, Jewish Family and Child, JAX, and Mount Sinai Hospital, Sinai Health System, for coming together to make tonight happen. If it is true, as it is widely noted, that there is no individual or family health without mental health, then it is also true that there is no community spiritual health without community mental health. Our Breaking the Stigma program reflects the growing commitment in organized Judaism to address mental health and addictions at a communal and sustained level. And the leadership of Rabbi Strauchler, Rabbi Cutler, and Rabbi Friedman Cole are particularly important in this. Stigma, and we've heard about the biblical sources of stigma, is a potent destructive force that wreaks its damage in several ways. It is a form of discrimination and source of shame that impacts well-being by lowering self-esteem. It generates social isolation, and we know that social connectedness is a potent protector of well-being. And stigma obstructs identification of critical concerns and the pursuit of care. This is particularly relevant when we look at the mental health of expectant and new mothers and fathers. Too often we see the painful juxtaposition of parental depression and anxiety alongside what is perceived as a joyous and wondrous miracle of life. It can be overwhelming and powerfully silencing to feel depressed when the expectations of oneself and others are that this should be the most joyous time in life. Thankfully, the dialogue is changing, and we have the opportunity now to address these issues earlier and more upstream, reducing the burden of illness and distress downstream, promoting healthier beginnings for parents and their children. Part of our response at Sinai, and we're very proud of this, has been to develop the largest perinatal mental health program in Canada, and a unique focus as well on fathers' mental health, as you will hear about tonight. Access to effective and evidence-based treatment of depression and anxiety confers great benefit to the individual as a person and as a parent, which in turn confers great benefit to one's children. It fosters a reverberating and positive loop that promotes parental emotional attunement, parental responsiveness, and a healthy attachment with one's child, which in turn creates a strong platform for healthy childhood psychological development. It starts early. I'm delighted to see so many young families here and so many babies in the audience. I hope everyone is listening. It is incumbent on us all to play our role in this, at the professional mental health level, at the clergy and spiritual level, at the individual and family level, and at the community level. Dialogue, as we will generate tonight, advances care and access, and it fosters knowledge, education, support, and hope. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the first speaker. We have 5 speakers who will also be serving on our panel.